Hello, I am Mantastic and Fantastic, and today I'm finally back on my side of the room because I finally got this new computer set up. Now, everything may or may not be working perfectly, but hopefully this should be of acceptable quality, and I did manage to write something from this new computer. So I still haven't got everything set up, but this should be sufficient for the meantime. So, without further ado, let us discuss about Nay. So, the Monster Bootcamp Part 2 Godfest will feature Nay's debut. And Nay is actually a very exciting character because she will be the first Godfest exclusive that features 5 distinct, unique evolution paths. And because she has this amount of flexibility, she's going to have tremendous value to anyone who rolls her because with 5 different evolution paths, it's almost guaranteed at least one of them is going to benefit your monster box in some way, shape, or form. So she's actually great and worth pursuing. And in my opinion, this is actually a reasonably healthy way for Godfest exclusives to follow because that means you can roll one and it doesn't go to waste. It's going to have merit and value. So this video and article will be discussing all her different evolution paths to help you better decide which is best for you. So, who is Nay? Nay is a brand new 6-star Godfest exclusive that has 5 unique evolution paths. And each of these evolution paths does something slightly different and can be utilized on different teams. Naturally, they fit best on either monocolor or combo-oriented teams, and you are to a certain extent changing the primary attribute as well as how the active skill works. So, the active skill does change whichever evolution path you take, and you have to reskill them up every time you make a change. So for instance, let's say you went for the blue path and it was working great, but then you realize I could make more value out of the yellow one. You unevolve them, the active skill changes, you evolve them, the active skill changes again, you have to reskill them back up. So obviously we don't want to waste so many pies or skillet materials if at all possible, so you should try and make your decision as safely and cleanly as possible. But what I do want to highlight is that she does have value all the time because let's take for example Dark Callie, who is a very powerful Godfest exclusive, but Dark Callie only has relatively niche or narrow focus. So even if an average player rolls Dark Callie, it may or may not have value for them, whereas Nay will have value basically to everyone who rolls her. So I guess to all those naysayers out there who dislike Godfest exclusives coming out, I think this is actually a very healthy path for Godfest exclusives to follow because yes, it is rare, but at least it will have value. Now, because of all these factors, she is going to debut at S on my tier list when I get around to writing that Godfest review, which hopefully comes soon. So, which Nay is best for me? So basically, once you are fortunate enough to roll a 6-star Godfest exclusive, and that is Nay, we need to come to this very important and crucial decision. It may or may not be as challenging as your starter Pokemon, but at least we can undo our decision if we find they are the wrong choice. However, I do caution going against that because they do require relatively challenging evolution materials. It's a lot of evolutions of hard to acquire monsters, so there's a lot of work going into that evolution path, so undoing it is a lot of wasted effort. Now, all the Nays feature the exact same awakening setup, so it doesn't matter which one you choose, you get the same set of awakenings, and even though they do produce tri-elemental boards that include hearts, they don't actually possess follow-up attack awakenings, so you can set up kill boards if you have the appropriate support. But what they do possess is double TPA and double 7 combo awakenings, so they will be more often than not your the window closed, your hardest hitting sub or leader or card on your team just because they can pump out ridiculous amounts of damage. So, Fire Nay produces a board of Fire, Dark, Hard Orbs. All the Nays will heal 25% of your maximum health, as well as 2 turns of Bind Clearing. You can see from their awakenings that they're Bind Immune, double TPA, double 7 combo with a skill boost and a skill bind resist. So, that is quite a formidable set of awakenings, very offensive and quite defensive at the same time. Fire Nay's leader skill, which will be the same across all the ones except they change the color requirements, is all attributes, all cards 7 times attack, 25% damage reduction when you match 2 specific types of combos. For Fire Nay, it is Fire and Dark Orbs. In addition, you will actually have plus 2 seconds of orb movement time when used as a leader. So dual leaders is 4 seconds movement time, kind of like how Miru worked back in the day. So the pros, which are going to be standard across all of them, are double 7 combo, double TPA, they're bind immune. And in the case of Fire Nate, she does have a unique board changer. No one else can produce fire, dark, and heart orbs. So having a brand new orb changer can open up different combo synergy potentials. And it's useful to have it because it's not mirroring or duplicating someone else that already exists. You have damage mitigation built into your leader skill when you match those two sets of combos, so that can help in their leadership potential. The extra movement time is invaluable because, again, you can always set up combos. Like when Mirror first came out, you had so much time to make that heart cross. Now we just use this movement time to set up beautiful combos. She can form a very effective team if you are able to heavily stack 7 combo awakenings, because the problem is they have a low base multiplier, and this runs true across all the Nate evolution forms. They only have 7 or 49 times attack with dual leaders, and that is challenging because it's not quite enough unless you have many 7 combo subs. And in the case of the Fire Nate, you do have a board change synergy with Akachi. It's something new and different. You can make enhanced Dark Orbs and Heart, kind of like Haku, but it's slightly different. And she is cute, which is important, of course. So the cons of Fire Nate are that there's that low multiplier. The damage mitigation is conditional. You have to match Fire and Dark to actually have that. But that means you're also dealing damage to gain damage mitigation, so stalling becomes problematic, which is compounded further by her 12 base recovery. Furthermore, it's going to be hard to use her as a sub because she will be best on Fire Mirror teams, which is not available yet, maybe in 2018 if we're lucky. So it's going to be challenging to squeeze her in and accommodate all those beautiful awakenings. And as a result, she will actually be probably the second least used Nate across all the different evolution paths, just because there's no ideal team or fit for her to use as a sub. As a leader, she's still powerful, provided you have these 7 combo fire subs available. Now, like I already said, the 49 times attacks is low, but again, each 7 combo awakening provides 2 times damage. So if you can stack many of those across your team, you are going to have explosive amounts of damage. And you also have to take into consideration the fact that your team will be monocolor, so you are pumping out massive amounts of damage because everyone's the same color, because you also can stack orb changers or board changers and basically have a much more effective setup than a rainbow team. Like Raw Dragon has 144 times, but his damage is so diluted and scattered by comparison. But this extra 4 seconds movement time essentially 2 seconds of movement time per Nate equates to 4 time extend awakening. So they do have 8 at the moment. With, as a leader, they technically have 12 awakenings. So there is more value when they're used as a leader, definitely. Water Nate basically mirrors Fire Nate in all aspects, except that they produce water instead of fire orbs for their board changer, and their leader skill requires water and dark combos for activation. But Water Nate will differ because they have amazing potential as a Blue Hunter sub, because Blue Hunter is the most common and or popular option for a co-op for the average player, because everyone technically has access to them. We got the Male Hunter as a free card during Monster Hunter collab. Everyone could farm the dungeon, so in theory, everyone can have a Blue Hunter. And while Blue Hunter can use any sub they wish, it's ideal to be mono water because you can concentrate your damage, you can concentrate your orb changers, board changers, and you can produce the maximum multiplier possible that way, because essentially if everyone's water and you're using water orb changers, you're going to be dealing the most damage possible as opposed to something that's more rainbow and diluted by comparison. And Water Nate will fit beautifully. It's a combo-oriented team that probably is squeezing in some TPAs, so her offensive spread is perfect for this, as well as producing a very powerful board changer. Yes, it does compete with Ryune, which is kind of a downside because it's not unique or novel, but again, it's one of the better board changers available. You have, say, a Skuld on your team, you have a Water Nate, you can use Nate or Skuld to produce the board for the follow-up attack, and you're going to be able to pump out massive amounts of damage. Now, that sub potential aside, similar leadership potential as the Fire Nate, same pros and cons, and in terms of their board changer, they do have some unique applications, because on Dark Athena teams, that orb changer or board changer of water, dark, and hearts has merits because it produces the 2 required orbs plus healing potential. But because she heals 25% of her maximum health and 2 turns of bind clear, it actually can act as a very powerful inherit on Dark Athena herself because she is bind immune. And because of that bind immunity, you have a bind clear built in, you have a massive healing that has further benefits on a team of a HP boosted multiplier, as well as kind of one of your more ideal board changers. So Water Nate does have tremendous value and will be one of the more popular options to make. Wood Nate has basically the exact same setup, except that it's wood, dark, and hard orbs, and to activate their leader skill, it's wood and dark combos. Same bonus movement time, same awakening spread, but what differs from Woodney is that they are the best Diabolus pairing of all the Nays, as well as being a very potential Anubis sub. And Woodney has the ability to be paired with Diabolus most effectively because she is wood typing, and you want to try and keep your team as monocolor as possible. Even though there is high damage output potentially, you want to stay monocolor because when you use orb changes or board changes, you're going to have all the offensive orbs you require. And because Diabolus is wood, Woodney is wood, it's the best pairing. Furthermore, while any Nay can pair with Diabolus and it's technically a damage boost, only Woodney can produce the wood orbs to allow Diabolus to actually deal damage. So that is significant and relevant. With Diabolus, you actually gain a slightly higher multiplier. You have 8 times instead of 7, so 56 versus 49, which is significant. You do gain a 7x6 board, so you're always hitting those 7 combos. You really need 8 for Diabolus, but again, that shouldn't be an issue because you do have 2 bonus seconds of movement time with Nay, so you do have enough movement time on a 7x6 board. And while Diabolus will result in a slightly less universally beneficial active skill because True Gravity on a terribly long cooldown is hard to use, you get the 7x6 board, you get a higher multiplier, you still retain damage mitigation, but you do also lose 1 7 combo awakening, but the bigger board, more combos, is going to easily justify this pairing. So it's actually a very potent option to use Nay with Diabolus. In addition to all of that, she is actually a very potent Anubis sub, and this is because Anubis teams tend to be, for the most part, either dark, light, or wood heavy, or a combination of the 3. And Woodney can function well because if your team is dark and wood heavy, which is the common case for people who don't own many Diao Chans, it is going to be beneficial because you have the Gunma usually for wood, you have the Nay, you may have other dark heavy cards, and you're just going to be pretty happy overall. So Woodney will provide a beneficial board changer. It's got wood, it's got dark, it's got heal, all the elements you really want on any team, to be honest. You get 2 offensive orbs, you get 1 healing component. Like, it's very powerful. Unfortunately, I guess one little drawback is that she copies Mitsunari's active skill, and it's only seen as a drawback because it doesn't provide any unique combo synergies. But again, it's a small thing, but it's worth mentioning that it is a duplicate. It's not a unique board changer overall. Lightning again follows the same path, except it's light orbs generated with dark and hearts, and to activate their leader skill, it's light and dark combos. Now, what are the main benefits of Lightning is that she is, again, a very potent Anubis sub because, again, Anubis tends to be light, wood, or dark heavy. So, again, if you have many Diao Chans, Lightning is going to be a very powerful addition to your team. However, where Lightning is going to truly shine is on Yogg teams. Now, Yogg is one of the most powerful leaders available in the game. They produce an absurd amount of damage with just 2 light combos, but they have to be above 80% health in order to deal blistering amounts of damage. Now, while Yogg does have a 40% built-in heal, you sometimes want to have more because you may be taking preemptives, you may have to stall, you don't really want to, but you may have to. And Lightning can help solve these problems because Lightning does provide you with 25% of your maximum health heal. And because of that, say you took a little smaller amounts of damage, you don't want to waste Yogg himself, you can pop Lightning, you get your health back above the 80% threshold, you can start dealing massive amounts of damage because on a tri-elemental board, you should statistically have 10 light orbs, so that is more than enough for 2 combos, and you're going to be pumping out massive amounts of damage. So Lightning is going to have tremendous value on Anubis teams and Yogg teams as subs. Again, the same leadership pros and cons apply if you have a nice light team built that you can build around. And again, her active skill does mirror Apocalypse. It's still a good active skill, but again, it's not a unique one. And now we come to Dark Nay. And Dark Nay is unfortunately going to be the worst of all the Nays, and that is because she produces jammers, dark and hearts. Her leader skill activation is dark combos. Thankfully, it's not jammers, but the thing is, when you're producing jammers, you are having dead weight. And because of that dead weight, it's going to make her the least appealing to use overall. The least amount of flexibility because it benefits, obviously, fewer cards overall. And while I'm not necessarily sold on the jammer meta, it technically has some potential with Fenrir and Fenrir Viz getting new evolutions. It's problematic because any card that produces jammers can only be used on those jamming teams. It's not going to have merit or value on traditional teams, so it's going to make Dark Nay less desirable, even though it would have been a great card to have because Dark does to a certain extent want more double 7 combo cards. Really, everyone wants more 7 combo cards. So it's just an unfortunate circumstance. Like, maybe you can make it work if you have ways to utilize the jammers, or maybe if your team is pure mono dark. But then again, if you got an awkward amount of jammers, you have to make sure you match all of them. Otherwise, you're stuck with something that's going to be dead weight moving forward. So, in conclusion, Nay is going to be, in my opinion, the start of a very exciting trend for Godfest exclusives. The fact that you have split evolution paths is important because it's going to provide value to every single player regardless of what their monster box looks like. It's not going to end up as dead weight or a monster box cheerleader like other 6 stars have in the past. So, which Nay evolution do you plan to make, and how hard do you actually and foresee yourself rolling in the upcoming Godfest? And just remember, maybe she's born of it. Maybe it's Naybeline. And happy puzzling!